turnovers early in the ball game, couldn't use them. And finally, in the third quarter, we were able to score a touchdown and go up 6-0, or maybe the fourth quarter, and looked like we might be in good shape to win it. Then all of a sudden, Griffin, on a big pass play, got down deep and was able to score, and thought they were going to be able to win it with that extra point, but it was wide and gave us a second chance. But you can see the crowd, the umbrellas, and it was a very colorful sight, even though it was raining, with all the multicolored umbrellas and the rain gear, and you could really tell the deer hunters. You could see all the gear that was out by the various fans that were there. And Griffin brought a great crowd of people.
Mike, they did. They brought a real good crowd over, and I was extremely proud of our people that came. We had probably a three-quarter full stadium on our side, and they stayed there throughout the ball game and made their presence known. And I'm really thankful for them and to them and proud of them for being there supporting us in these conditions.
You know, we were talking about getting breaks early, and then in the overtime period, as you said, we had our backs to the wall, and the kids got off the deck and came through and showed a lot of character, and I think that's representative of your coaching staff and your entire program, and got off the deck to win it. But you can see your seniors here as they go out on the field for the coin toss, and I think we did win the coin toss. Is that right?
We did, and elected to defend an end zone that we thought was a little bit better as far as footing, so that we could, if we did have to receive the football, we'd have decent enough footing that we could get the ball moved out far enough and not let things happen to us bad on our end of the field. So Griffin, I believe, would kick off to them and try to put them down in the bad part of the field, which after about 2 or 3 minutes of play, Mike, there wasn't a good part. The whole thing was bad. And try to keep them pinned up and try to force a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. Is we got a turnover.
Well, you can see Jerry Smith and Roy Lee Moss as your captain.
Right.
Derek Allen, of course, was the Broderick Allen, I'm sorry, is the captain of Griffin.
Griffin, along with their seniors, and it's the last time that these guys will face each other, and we're kind of glad. We were talking about it last night. This is the fourth time. Well, this is the 6th time in 3 years that we've played Griffin, and it's the 4th time in a row that we've beaten them. So we're just real happy not to have to face them again, and looking forward to facing Walton, somebody different other than a region opponent.
Well, as you look on the field there as they're tossing the coin and discuss it with the officials, you can see the field and how it's puddled up in the middle, and it's just really a quagmire out there in the middle. And on the outsides, you can see the grass behind the youngsters. You got a little bit better footing, but boy, when you try to sweep right or left or run wide to the wide side of the field, you're really just taking your chances. And the cheerleaders did a great job. There's the banner as they come through and did a super job. They've done it year in, year out in support of the Grangers.
They really have. They've done a great job this year, as every other year, in getting those banners up and ready to colorful and really supportive, and the fans really like to see those things and enjoy anticipating what it's going to be each week.
Well, I think the first of the game, Coach, we started out, looked like both teams did, trying to do some things, and then realized, well, there wasn't going to be a whole lot of things you could do on this field, and you went back to your basics, just running between the tackles and between the guard and center.
That's exactly what we did, and we felt like Roy Lee Moss had to handle our football and do the work for us, and he did. And occasionally we give it to Raymond Allen and Derwin Brewer, who handled himself pretty well in those conditions, and it didn't seem to affect him that much. He was very quick on his feet still.
He did an exceptional job. And the second play right here, they fumble the football, and we come up with it at the 11-yard line, and we were unable to move and use it. I think this is a play right here where they fumbled it. We made a good play in the backfield.
Jerry Smith makes the hit right there, causing the fumble. John Johnson, Julian Blackman picks it up, and Julian almost was able to get into the end zone himself, but slipping and sliding went down. And this is exactly what we hoped would happen, and get that turnover. Offensively, though, we weren't able to get it into the end zone.
I think this is the end of the field, Coach, where the footing is so bad.
This was the worst end of it. We felt like in warming up and walking the field and looking at it before the game that this was the worst end of the field at this point in time.
Well, you can see Deshaun right there trying to square up, and he had a little trouble really trying to get his foot planted to throw it. And this, I believe, is a second down play.
Roy Lee Moss on the carry, and defensive lineman comes through and makes a play. No gain or a slight loss.
This is a third down play.
Sprint out pass to Deshaun. Turns up, not much happening right there.
And this kind of got everybody's attention. On 4th down, we go for a field goal, and I think Chuck Mayfield was just unable really to snap the ball. It was in the mud, and so we really never got it off.
The ball wasn't snapped. Put a little bit too much pressure forward, and it caused the ball to stick in the mud, and just enough that when he went to snap it, his hand slipped off of it, and the ball pretty much stayed still. And that's just typical of the weather and how the night was going to go for us.
And Griffin's on the offense for the first time. You know, I know one of the things you're concerned about, the injuries in weather like this, knees, just any type of injury, you can get hurt real easy. You see Griffin trying to go wide. As they get outside, the footing's a little bit better, but still right in the middle of the field, very, very slippery. But you had to be concerned about your injuries, and I think you came out pretty well as far as injuries were concerned.
We did. The type of injuries you're going to get in this kind of weather is slipping and sliding and pulled muscles more so than any kind of severe sprain and strain on knees and ankles, that kind of thing. We did have an ankle injury or two, but we are fortunate that we do not think they're that severe. There again, we think that some pull muscles and things is what we were worried about, but feel like we came out pretty good.
Well, you can see Lagrange on defense is getting after it as they have all year. Of course, Griffin's pretty big up front, Coach. They got some pretty big offensive people and pretty big defensive people.
They've got some big kids, and always do and always will have those kind of kids. It kind of negated our quickness a little bit on defense, and but I was really proud of the way that our defensive linemen hung in there. You can see Griffin shifting their formations with their tight end wing back right here as an example. And our defensive linemen made the adjustments necessary, and of course it's all based on Tracy Ward, our free safety, making the correct call and communicating the call to the defensive linemen and the linebackers, and everybody did a real good job of concentrating on what they were supposed to do, making the adjustments. You see us moving back and forth right there, and they're trying to catch us pre-snap right there before we get set, and which they did that time. But I believe that was the only time that happened. The rest of the time we made the adjustment real well. I was proud of our defensive front for doing that. Jerry Smith on another tackle, playing very well right now, Mike. I'm glad to see that. And I certainly hope for our sake that Jerry's success continues.
You know, Broderick Allen, the quarterback, he was looking forward to coming back over here and playing. He didn't have a good game against us the first time around, and he had made his mind up this time he was going to stand in that pocket and do what was necessary, and you have to tip your hat his way. He did a real good job, a fine athlete. He stood in there and threw the ball exceptionally well, as you'll see later on in the game when he ties it up 6-6. But he did a good job of redeeming himself. This was a great opportunity for us right here, but the punter made a great play.
The punter made a fantastic play, Mike, to pick that ball up and turn and kick that ball with the side of his foot under pressure. Was a tremendous play. We could have blocked that thing and gotten it in the end zone and scored ourselves and that kind of thing, and really put them in the hole. But he did a great job of getting it off and got it out, midfield or better there.
Well, you know, it was really frustrating all night long. We were frustrated up in the booth as every time we get the ball in a good position, we'd try to move it, then all of a sudden we'd make a mistake, or we'd slip down, or we'd get sacked for a 5 or 6 yard loss. We just never could really sustain anything. Of course, when in this kind of weather, it's tough to do that, but we had great opportunities throughout the game. We were just really frustrated offensively until late when we did finally get one in.
It was frustrating. We thought we should have got some points out of some of those situations, but we didn't. But we didn't dwell on that, and we didn't get all upset about that, and offensively we didn't begin to think, well, it's just not our night, let's give up. We didn't do that. They kept playing hard, and those offensive linemen, Chuck Mayfield and Jeff Rogers and Donald Walton and Todd Dow, those guys just continued to play hard and never gave up, and the running backs continued to run hard. We did not have a fumble all night long, so that's a credit to our running backs and the concentration that they have in carrying the ball. We did have a couple of pass interceptions. We only threw 4 and intercepted 2, as Deshaun just couldn't get a handle on the wet, slippery ball.
Well, you can see the first half is played, the entire half, on Griffin's end of the field, as we did a good job of keeping them backed up. And as you continue to watch the play here, you can see the middle of the field, how soggy it is, and the rains at this point are still coming down, and the footing is not good at all, and it's not throughout the entire game. As you can see, Allen rolling to his left here, and a big play by Jeff Moore.